Okay, we were talking about how Adam was totally inclined to holiness at creation, and then when sin entered in, how Adam is now inclined totally towards sin. So to do that which is holy and righteous for a sinner is contrary to his inclination, contrary to his character. He cannot will it because it's contrary to his character and inclination. But it is sin for a believer is also the same way. It's contrary to his character. Though he is a sinner redeemed, but yet we know that the Holy Spirit lives in him. And so, it's so natural now, should be natural for a spiritual person to do things that are pleasing to God. There are non-moral and non-religious objects. They could be loved or hated. Example, non-moral and non-spiritual. Our dear brother didn't eat any non-veg today. That's a non-moral area. You could eat it or you don't want to eat it. Nobody can force it. Because it has nothing to do with spiritual, or it becomes a spiritual issue if you say that it's a sin to eat. Yes, because Bible gives perfect freedom for man to eat, non-veg. And besides, really, whenever Jesus gave food, he always had some non-veg. Always. That's very interesting,
You cannot be disciple. You cannot be disciple.
It's not an Indianized Christian practice.
Yeah, well, Christians when Indianize, that's a problem. They come very close to Hindus. Yeah, but the Bible says in Romans chapter 14, one man eats salt, one man does not eat. That's the freedom. That's nobody should. It should not be on the religious grounds. It should be on any other grounds. It should not be. Because religious ground, it gives perfect freedom. And then, moreover, actually man needs non-veg food. Whoever says, because God immediately after the flood allowed man to eat, because he realized now man needs, good quality protein. See our Indians, we have 130 crores people. Not one gold medalist in the Olympics for any of the other activities. You know why? Whatever you say, our people don't have the stamina to compete with those people. All our runners, they run the first run, that's the best, right? The second one comes down, third one comes down, because they have stamina. For the others, it is not the other way. Their third jump or third race, is the best one. They have the stamina we don't have, because when you eat all the paripan, this bhati, you're not getting that stamina that is needed, honestly. For survival, yes. People say, of course, better health. I don't know what is health. How will you define health? Yeah, I'm a person who, spends some time on. Health is the capacity to do what you're supposed to do. That's all what is health is. Your heart is supposed to breathe. You have the capacity to breathe. You have a healthy heart. Your kidney is supposed to be filtering, and taking out all the unwanted. If your kidney is doing that, you are healthy. You're supposed to go from this place to that place. You are able to go. You are healthy in that respect. That's what it is. So health is in a relative matter. Health is relative. If you are not able to do what you are supposed to do because your certain part does not permit you, you cannot read because eyes doesn't permit you, you cannot hear because your ears doesn't permit you, you cannot breathe because your lungs does not permit you, are a sick person. A sick person. So just to be functional, nobody needs any particular kind of food actually. You only need very little food. But the calories, they depend upon your functions. You need to have the calories, you need to have the protein, the vitamins, the minerals, the carbohydrate, and all those 4 kinds of things that we need. No, that's not my subject. So it's an illustration of an amoral, non-spiritual area. You have the freedom to eat. Nobody should condemn anybody who does not eat or does eat. It's up to the person's freedom. There's nothing wrong in that. So I have full respect for people don't eat. There's nothing wrong in that. Yes. But some Hindus, of course, they say that, now that's a big debate here, that should not be eaten or this should be eaten. That's what, in that when I say that, that besides the point. That besides the point. Yes. So there are non-moral and non-religious objects. They could be loved or hated. They operate on natural instinctive desires. For example, physical appetite, family affection, social affections, aesthetic feelings. They are all finite and therefore are not the nature of religious or moral values. Some people love flowers, some people don't love flowers. Some people love pets, some others don't love pets. Then in spiritual value, those who love flowers are more spiritual than those who love pets. No, there is nothing like that. Yes. This is non-moral, non-spiritual. In all those areas we have the freedom. However, every person has his own inclination. Some families, like the Ravi Varma families in Mahavelikara, the royal family, they have turned out many painters from Ravi Varma on, many painters, because their genes have something to do with painting, yes, It's not a moral virtue or an amoral virtue. It becomes immoral when you paint the wrong thing. As long as you are painting natural beauty and and all those still lifes and all those things, it is amoral. It's an Adam. So what we do with it, that's what. What we do with that's what. Among the early Christians, we knew that someone loves one day or the other day. Paul said that he who loves the day, who doesn't love the day, do it for the Lord. Some may celebrate Christmas, some may not celebrate Christmas. I am not an advocate of celebrating Christmas. There are spiritual reasons for it. That's another thing. But if somebody wants to, buy a cake on the day of Christmas, you cannot excommunicate them from the church. You can share a piece with me, because cake is a neutral thing, Or Christ was born one day. Even if you are not sure it was December 25th, he was born someday. So you want to remember that my Lord was born, and then you wanted to invite your non-Christian friends and share with them the message of gospel. So what is wrong? Nothing wrong. But some people will become so technical about, these things, and I don't want it, unless you have a valid reason for that. So, when it comes to such non-moral, non-religious, usually finite things that are not eternal, things that are temporary, our inclinations may vary from family to family, depend upon many things. Some people look at the painting and they will stand there for 1 hour and say, wow. Some people look at the painting and they don't even see it. They don't mind. What is it? Some paint put on all over the paper. That's what it means to. So it all depends upon. So there are constitutional, non-moral propensities flowing necessarily from man's physical and mental structure. Unregenerate men have them as well as regenerate men. They are not the objects of divine command or prohibition, like moral and religious desires. Moral and religious desires, yes, they are a different matter. The 10 Commandments are all on moral issues. Every one of them. We have no choice on them. Yes. But then the ceremonial laws, they had a moral value only because God commanded them. So you were supposed to do it. But they in themselves, no. Worship on the Sabbath, for example. For the Jew it was important, but for us, no. Why? Because God commanded for them, they have to do it. And God hasn't commanded them for us, we don't have to do it. Circumcision, same way. A non-moral issue, I will say, but it becomes a moral issue for them because it's a question of obeying God. But for us, it's not an issue because God has not required it for us. But forsaking the church meeting is a sin here. It's an issue because God commanded. So then there are moral, non-moral issues. When God has commanded it and that commandment applies to us, we cannot violate it because then we are violating God's commandment. Then God's authority is questioned. But otherwise such matters don't happen. There is no commandment, you have to wear a certain kind of clothes, or you have to sleep certain hours, or you have to eat certain kind of food, or you have to take certain kind of job. There is no commandments. So people have the freedom to do those things. Some people usually make an issue of it. An issue of it. But don't make an issue of it. Leave it to respect others' freedom. Husbands and wives, parents and children are commanded to love, submit, etc. only in the Lord. They are not natural commandments like do not murder. No. The instinctive love or the instinctive for love or instinctive for submission is not commanded. Now that you cannot command. The instinctive cannot be. Love your neighbor, yes, but you cannot command your feelings. Love your neighbor. Love your enemy. If the feelings are involved, then if it's good feeling, they won't be enemies, right? The fact that they are enemies, what does it mean? You don't have good feelings towards them, right? So feelings are contrary to it, but you are commanded because it's a matter of obedience, Those obedience are easy to obey. If they are hungry, give them food. If they are naked, send them some clothes. That's it. It doesn't say you go and embrace them and give holy kiss to them. No, it doesn't say. God doesn't expect because they are your enemies. The fact that they are your enemies, your feelings are not very good for them. But we are under commandment to love them. That love is shown always by action. And anybody can send 5 kilos of rice to a neighbor, but even if he is your enemy, if he is hungry, that the children doesn't have food, you can send 5 kilos of rice. Who cannot do it? Anybody can do it. So God commanded only that. Some people think that you have to go and you have to go and embrace them, and then he beats you up, and then you say that I only wanted to kiss him, but you see what he has done to me. Well, God didn't do that. If you can do it, try to do it, but before that you take away your enemy. Because if he is your enemy, you can naturally expect that from an enemy. So you make him your friend, and then you be friendly with him. You cannot be friendly with your enemy because the two doesn't go. They are, contradictory things. How can you be friendly with your enemy? You cannot be friendly with your enemy. You can be friendly with your friends. But you can love your enemy because love is not emotion, love is action. Always it's action. Love has emotion, but love is not emotion. If love becomes emotion, then it's very, very lean and very... Love is action, love is determination. Yes. So when it says love your enemies, you can do certain things. Lord said that. Do this. Love your wife. But that's not loving your enemies. Their love is involved, because love your wife. There is do good to her, there forgive her, be not bitter against her. There's so many things are involved. So you cannot love your wife just like you love your enemies. So that's what some people say. Actually, they fulfill their commandment by doing it. Citizens are commanded to obey the government. What does it mean? Pray for them, pay the tax, duty and all. That anybody can do. It does not mean you have to become a Marxist or you have to become what they call Rashtriya Swayam Sevak, or you don't have to become a Congress to love the government. No, loving the government means pray for your rulers, obey the laws, pay the taxes and the duties. Your love is finished there. But you cannot buy just rice for your wife and say, my duty is finished. No. Because that love is a different kind of love. Parents' love for children involves all three faculties. They are emotions, and they are intellect, and they are volition, and all that you have to. So you use your entire personality actually to love your family. The natural instinctive desires are transient. They are related to temporal, not eternal. The family, the state, etc. are confined to earth and time. This fact shows that they are non-moral in their nature. The moral and religious are eternal. None of the natural instinctive desires are lost by the fall. They were corrupted by the fall, but they exist. Love for children. Because of sin and death, parents still have love for children. Love for wife, husband, still there. It only decreased the quality. But the matter itself is not there. Immediately after the fruit was eaten, Adam did not start hitting his wife. Did Adam ever hit his wife? You think that Adam for doing what she done? No, I don't believe. Because the Bible says that no one has ever hated his body. That's it. No one has ever. So Adam cannot be the one. There are other people afterwards, but Adam cannot because he's the first one. Nobody can ever. Moral and religious desires are part of human will. Augustine linked the will with the heart, as many theologians did. What are the desires? What are desire and joy, but a will inclined towards the things we desire and rejoices in? And what are fear and hatred, but a will distinctly towards the things we fear and hatred? That's all what it is. What does it mean that when you love something? It simply means that you desire that thing, therefore you love. Anybody who desires something, they happen to love something. That's what it is. What is hatred? Anything you don't like to have, for any reason. You hate it. That's what hatred is. The will of God, according to its diverse objects, has different names of holiness, goodness, love, mercy. They are all different. They are all the will of God. All of God's commandments to man is related to these virtues. Concerning neutral or amoral virtues, items, commandments given only as they are related to our relationship with the Lord. The knowledge of man is of two kinds. The rational knowledge related to his understanding and volitional knowledge related to his will. The rational knowledge is what we reasonably logically think. The volitional knowledge are we naturally think, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. That's my volitional knowledge. My mind immediately knows. I don't have to think out there what time today I have to be hungry. No, we don't think like that. Somebody had food for half an hour and they said, to the wife, is there anything to eat for me? I'm hungry. Hey, you only had, 2 plates full of that, but I'm hungry. You cannot say you are not hungry. Because hunger is a knowledge that you have, volitional knowledge, which means that it automatically comes. Yes, because when the gastric juices start working on your intestine instead of the food, you feel a feeling. That is what is called hunger. The particular time it pumps in the acid. So if there is no food to work on it, it works on our intestines and stomach and all. Then we have a feeling, the acid working. You say, I'm hungry. That's what it is. So if you time your eating, only at that time it comes. Every day you eat at 6 o'clock in the evening, 6 o'clock hunger is coming because the acid will be pumping. That's the problem with people who eat all the time. They have gastric problem because the acid is continuously pumping. Children, same problem. So don't feed children always, fixed hours. Then they have no problem with acidity and nothing. Because then our hormones will be pumped only at that particular hour. You can train it, particular hour. Every day you eat at 6 o'clock, the gastric juices will be pumped for digesting the food you are going to eat. And if you don't go to eat, you feel very hungry. Yes. So don't feed your children all the time. One way of not feeding the children all the time, you don't eat all the time. If children watch you eating all the time, they will eat. So eat when you want it. So volitional knowledge and rational knowledge. Yes. The difference of man related to rational knowledge and volitional knowledge, those who are intellectually more knowledgeable and those who are volitionally more advanced. That's the difference. Those who are intellectually more knowledgeable have intellectual knowledge. They always think about things, any question. 100 questions they ask themselves, 100 questions they ask their partner and other people. So many questions. And the volitional people have no questions because they all know it volitionally. They don't think. So the terms inclination, desire and affection are interchangeable in the world. The psalmist often speaks about one thing he desires, and at other times he will talk about how he loves the same thing. He prays to God to incline God's heart into his desire. Love God is an affection of the heart. It is also the inclination of the Christian. Hatred of sin is a Christian aversion. In the King James Version, willingness is sometimes desiring and sometimes purposing. In the Greek, telo or guleo. Romans 9:22. What if God is willing? 2 Peter 3:5. Willing to be ignorant. There are the different kinds of knowledge. The centurion willing to save the soul. He wanted, when the ship was wrecked, so he wanted to save Paul. His original intention was to kill everybody there, but because he wanted to save Saul, he told people, those who can swim, you swim and escape. So nobody was killed. The will, like understanding, is mutable. It is capable of radical changes. It has met with such a change at the fall. Man is now inclined exactly contrary to what he was by creation. With respect to moral, religious ends and objects, man will contrary to what intends for him. This great change is the fall. It is an overthrow, a catastrophe. It is not a mere difference in degree or intensity. It is an entire alteration of direction, of activity. The fall of man, the fall of man's will was a revolution, not evolution. So it's very, very interesting. And the things going, and I don't want to read all these things because some of you already got bored.
It is only the matter of will.
Yeah, well, yeah. You are sitting there only because, yes. Yeah, now I will come to something more interesting. These are all very necessary things, so we'll come back and I'll talk about it. But just to remove your boredom. I know you are bored because, this is not stuff for everybody. Some people will be saying, why you say all these things? Yeah, well, that's true. So what do you want me to do? Say something useful. Then I will talk something about cooking. Yeah. Or something about eating. Yeah. It depends on, Some people think theology is the most boring thing because it's talking about God. But some people, theology is the most fascinating because it is talking about God. So it all depends upon what you do with your God. You love your God, or you don't love Him.
Finally, you are saying that you listen.
Yeah. What's it?
Finally, you are saying listen. Better to listen.
Yes, better to listen. That's exactly true. That's exactly true. Yes. Blessings come only by listening, right? Faith cometh by hearing. No blessing has ever come by not listening. Amen. To the blessings come when you don't listen to the wrong people. But positively speaking, blessings come by listening. So anytime you hear the subject about God, and if it's biblical, you listen. If it's unbiblical, then you turn your switch off. Okay. So I'm going to speak about something more interesting. That's about the image of God. I will come to the area of